John, so you do the math, yeah?
The town was clean.
I had to share some with me. 1.
All left but it's how much more. You chose this.
You chose this.
The story unfolds in a city under the oppressive grip of military forces, where a catastrophic disaster strikes, unleashing a deadly virus that compels many residents to seek refuge in another city. However, their desperate attempts to flee are thwarted by soldiers who enforce a brutal mandate, ordering the citizens to remain confined within the city limits. Those who dare to defy this decree face the grim prospect of being sent to isolation camps. In a chilling scene, we meet Commander Stone, who resorts to torturing the wife of one of his dissenting soldiers, John. As Stone learns of John's clandestine efforts to help others escape from the isolation camp, he resorts to sinister threats, vowing to kill John's beloved wife, Susan, if he refuses to divulge the whereabouts of the escapees. John's steadfast silence leads Stone to make a heart-wrenching decision. He will execute Susan right before John's eyes. 3 years pass, yet John remains haunted by the memory of his cherished wife. In hiding, he dedicates himself to mastering self-defense, fueled by a burning desire for vengeance. Flashbacks reveal John's past as a member of the Special Forces under Stone's command, a unit responsible for the ruthless slaughter of countless residents accused of harboring the virus. In a cruel twist of fate, it becomes clear that this virus was merely a smokescreen devised by Stone for his own selfish ambitions, leaving innocent citizens as collateral damage in his quest for power. Despite his former allegiance, John grapples with guilt and shame over the atrocities committed by his superiors. Branded a traitor for voicing his condemnation, he finds himself in a precarious position when medical teams discover that he is immune to the virus. They plan to exploit his blood to create a vaccine, but John vehemently refuses and ultimately escapes their clutches. Now concealed in the depths of a forest, John's thoughts are consumed by the loss of his wife and the weight of his past actions. As he mourns his fate, he encounters a mysterious woman named Maria. The next day, upon awakening, John discovers that a bullet is lodged in her body, a bullet fired by military forces during her escape attempt. He helps Maria remove the projectile, only to uncover that it is no ordinary bullet, it is a tracking device. As Maria slips into unconsciousness after the procedure, John's world becomes even more perilous, intertwining their fates in an unexpected and dangerous alliance. John comes to the stark realization that Maria is being hunted by the Special Forces, and he notices a peculiar barcode etched onto her wrist. When she regains consciousness, he offers her refuge in his cabin, but with a heavy heart, he insists that once she recovers, she must leave immediately to protect both of them. He knows all too well that he is also a target of the same ruthless forces. 2 days later, the tension escalates as operatives from the Special Forces arrive at his hut, their GPS leading them straight to him in search of Maria. Despite their inquiries, John remains resolute and silent, refusing to divulge her location. The situation turns dire when they demand to search his cabin, prompting John to take decisive action to incapacitate them. In the chaos, Maria reveals her own strength by managing to eliminate one of the attackers, leaving her stunned by John's unexpected prowess. Intrigued by John's capabilities, Maria yearns to learn more about him, but John remains guarded, unwilling to share the details of his past. Meanwhile, news of the fatalities among the Special Forces reaches their superiors, Roy and Lucy, who plan to report the incident to their commander, none other than Stone, the man responsible for John's wife's tragic death. As John fortifies his hiding place in anticipation of retaliation from the Special Forces, Maria finds the courage to open up about her own harrowing experiences. She reveals that she too possesses immunity to the virus, making her a target for exploitation. However, she is deeply reluctant to surrender her DNA, fully aware that the military's intentions are self-serving. They intend to distribute the vaccine selectively, ensuring that only certain groups benefit while neglecting the impoverished citizens suffering from the virus. Their shared plight connects John and Maria in a profound way, yet their paths diverge in tragedy, John having lost his beloved wife while Maria survived a devastating outbreak that claimed the lives of most inmates and guards during her imprisonment for theft. The following day, John takes it upon himself to teach Maria how to wield weapons for her own defense. However, their training is abruptly interrupted when 3 members of the Special Forces venture into the forest. Sensing their approach, John strategically retreats into the hut to draw them closer. As they near, he swiftly retaliates with gunfire, yet disaster strikes when one of them captures Maria, demanding that John reveal himself from his hiding spot. John swiftly takes aim from within the confines of the hut, shooting the man threatening Maria, and, without hesitation, he exits to ensure the threat is neutralized for good. Meanwhile, with 3 of their operatives unaccounted for, the superiors decide to dispatch reinforcements to capture Maria, unaware that her protector is none other than John, a former Special Forces operative renowned for his exceptional combat skills. As John and Maria brace themselves for the impending arrival of the next troop, John retrieves a weapon he hasn't wielded in years. He instructs Maria to fetch water from a nearby lake, but fate takes a cruel turn when she unexpectedly finds herself surrounded by the newly arrived Special Forces members. Believing they have successfully captured their primary target, Roy hastily communicates this development to Commander Stone. However, before he can complete his report, John bursts onto the scene, opening fire to save Maria once again. Despite John's intervention, Roy survives and immediately informs Stone of the situation, urging him to send reinforcements. In a chilling directive, Commander Stone orders his men to capture Maria alive rather than kill her. As the additional troops arrive, Maria finds herself momentarily apprehended, but her tenacity shines through as she manages to eliminate several Special Forces operatives. As news of his fallen troops reaches Stone, he recognizes the need for a strategic overhaul, planning to lure John into the tunnel that has been discovered near his hut. While John surveys the forest, he unexpectedly encounters Roy, an old friend turned adversary. A fierce confrontation ensues. Roy proves to be a formidable opponent, and John struggles to fend off his relentless attacks, finding himself knocked down repeatedly. In this escalating conflict, both men are driven by their pasts, John seeking to protect Maria at all costs while grappling with memories of their shared history. The stakes have never been higher as they navigate this deadly game of cat and mouse, where every decision could mean life or death. Regrettably, at the same moment, Maria is captured. Meanwhile, John, who is not truly dead, rises, driven by a fierce determination to find her. As Roy takes Maria into the depths of the tunnel with his troops, John inadvertently overhears Commander Stone's orders through the calms of the fallen soldiers. Stone instructs his men to converge in the tunnel, and without a second thought, John rushes toward it, unaware that he may be walking into a trap set by Stone. Inside the tunnel, John encounters Roy once more, and a brutal fight ensues. Stone and his troops lie in wait at the tunnel's exit, anticipating Roy's arrival. John struggles against Roy's formidable combat skills, barely holding his ground until an exhausted Roy lands a blow that sends him reeling. Seizing a fleeting opportunity, John manages to turn the tide and ultimately defeats Roy. With determination, he rescues Maria from the tunnel. However, their escape route is quickly cut off by Stone's troops, forcing John and Maria into a desperate battle for survival. They manage to fend off the Special Forces, but their victory is short-lived as reinforcements arrive. In a last-ditch effort, John deploys smoke grenades to obscure their pursuers' vision, seizing the chance to flee toward the exit. During his escape, he is struck by a bullet fired by Lucy but continues to press on, determined to protect Maria. Once inside a nearby room, John instructs Maria to hide until it is safe. He plans to lure the enemy troops away from her. Unfortunately, Stone and his men are already lying in wait at the tunnel's end, leaving John with no choice but to surrender. In a fateful confrontation, he comes face to face with his wife's killer. Stone finally grasps why capturing Maria has proven so difficult. John has been her unwavering protector. When Stone demands to know Maria's whereabouts, John resolutely refuses to divulge anything, even under torture. Frustrated, Stone accepts John's challenge for a one-on-one duel. Fueled by rage and resolve, John fights valiantly and ultimately triumphs over Stone in front of his shocked men. In a desperate bid for power, Stone orders his troops to arm him, but they refuse, exhausted by their commander's tyranny. In a fit of rage, Stone forcibly seizes a weapon from one of his subordinates, only to be shot with it in a twist of fate. At that moment, Maria emerges from her hiding place and surrenders, brandishing 2 grenades as leverage. She threatens to detonate them unless Lucy allows John to go free. Reluctantly, Lucy concedes to Maria's demand, leading her away while leaving John behind in the forest. Unbeknownst to them all, John had previously given Maria his blood sample for use as a potential vaccine against their enemies. Ultimately, scientists succeed in creating a vaccine using both John and Maria's blood samples, allowing the citizens of the city to reclaim their peace and safety. Thank you for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.